Yay, we're live. Here we go.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back to Unprinted Pages and happy Halloween. Today we have the awesome, amazing, talented Cait Marie, and we have her box from her Kickstarter. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Biggest question I want to ask, and to prove I didn't cheat, I have the box cutter here and I'm opening it now, guys. How did you decide to mesh all those beautiful fairy tales to make the Nyrist?
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee.
Sorry, I hit the mouse.
So it was actually an accident. Well, not an accident, but it wasn't initially on purpose. The first book was supposed to be a standalone. It was just like an adventure pirate princess romance. And then it expanded and I saw the similarities from my story to Robin Hood. And then I'm a very big fan of Tangled. And I was watching it one day and I saw the similarities there too. So I was like, you know what? I can make this work. So I just kind of smushed them together and wrote the books. I don't know.
And it turned out great. And I love to go hide there. And I love the beautiful multi-generational world you've made. There's like 3 generations to make up this beautiful story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been really fun.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm going to put the magnets up if I don't drop them. Tell us about him.
That is Captain Lee. He is the pirate that... Okay, so Ada is running away essentially because she hears some very bad things happening and she needs to save her kingdom. So she runs off and she finds this crew of sailors to take her in search of the Nyrist, which is a group of immortals. So she goes off with these group of sailors and he's the captain. And of course it turns out they're pirates.
Oh, yeah. And that was beautiful. And this is Ada, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah. My daughter saw this and made a whole entire little video based on this magnet.
I'm obsessed with the magnets. They turned out so cute.
And what about Ada?
She is the princess. She's the main character. She is very fierce, or tries to be. She's kind of sheltered because she's a princess, but she's not afraid to fight for the people she loves.
That is awesome. And then, of course, we have our favorite Prince King.
Shane is his brother. He is he has a very big heart. He took over the series, basically. He was just supposed to be a tiny little side character.
He's
And
like that.
He became main character because he was just, I don't know. It's hard to describe him. I just love him.
And then we have, come on, work with me. There we go.
Philip is my favorite character. He's a guard, but he grew up with Ada and Shane, and he's like their best friend. So,
and I love him, and I love them as a couple. I think I'm gonna have to remove my background for this to work. And I had the perfect Halloween background. And now you just have to see my horrible closet. Oh well. But you get to see these beautiful.
Yes, the art just did a wonderful job. I was just amazed.
And the couple's pictures, they just make me happy. I've like from the emails I took these and I've been swapping them back and forth on my phone as background.
I do the same. Right now, just the ocean sunset from Ada's, but yeah.
That I can understand. And this one's got 2 sides.
Yes. Those maps. That one, so I made both. But that one with the actual town was so incredibly difficult to make.
Oh yeah.
I think I switched it around like 14 times because it wasn't doing what I wanted it to do.
That I can understand. Oh, and the tarot cards.
Yes. I actually made all these myself. I illustrated all of them.
They are absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, the beloved is Briar in the story. The honorable.
The only thing we're actually missing is the book itself, because we have the stories.
Yeah. I love how that worked out.
Yeah.
I thought about doing all of the cards, like for the entire group. But it was just going to be so complicated to do all of them.
Oh yeah, it would. But it's beautiful what you have made us. This one says, if those brief stolen moments he wasn't the king, he was just a man falling in love with his best friend. And on the back, it has the Nyrist series. A prophecy foretold by the stars, a world of forbidden magic and a curse spanning centuries. This is just absolutely beautiful. And they are an amazing couple. And the back of the other one says the same thing. But the front says there was nothing she wouldn't do for the people she loved, but he'd move the stars if it meant saving her.
I'm so bad at picking out quotes. That's the hardest parts about being an author, I'm going to be honest. But those two are two of my absolute favorites, and I thought they were perfect for the bookmarks.
And I did get the card. I'm going to read it afterwards. But yes. Now on
I extra goodies for you and like your other prizes that you won and stuff because it took forever to send.
And I'm not mad. I would have been happy with just the ones I got and I ordered. And then these I've been waiting for a while for, but I am not mad because I keep listening to them over and over.
Yeah, my mom was helping me package all these up, and I was like, she gets an entire box of like all the books.
And I am so grateful and I am so happy. And each of them says to Jenny. And then this one, and I can honestly say I am happy, I am grateful, and this is just beautiful. And I was so happy you did an omnibus version.
Yeah, I was like, because the stories are so small that I wasn't print for those two. So I was like, if I combine them, then it'd be long enough to print.
It's together, they're like 100 pages, and I hadn't even thought about that. But guys, if you haven't checked out this series, I've even made my husband listen to it a few times. And this whole series, and this is amazing, and the characters even go into the dating app series she has, because her whole entire world's just meshed together.
Yeah.
And the only ones they don't fully mesh in is this series. And this I've been waiting for too. Look at how beautiful they are together. Trying not to drop them. I don't want to mess them up. Because you have this on the outside, and then on the inside, you have this. And I love how beautiful you've made this.
Yeah, I worked with multiple different artists for these. So like I had one artist do the dust jacket, one do the plain cover, one for the character art, and they were just all so amazing to work with.
And then from earlier, the same picture. I don't know. Am I getting it better? I think I'm. Yep, yeah. This looks better. But also the chapter pages. Each of them are gorgeous. How did you come to decide the rose and the sword for the characters?
Honestly, I don't even remember. I mean, there's a lot. The symbols are very important in the story. Like the rose symbol is important in the story, and it's Ada's middle name. So I used a lot of rose symbol and stuff. So I figured it would just be good to use that. And then there's a lot of sword fighting and stuff. So I thought it would be fun to mix the two, and it kind of symbolizes both her and Lee.
It does very well. And in the first one, she knows the fairy tale by heart, and she's decided to go look for them and get them to help save the kingdom from dear old dad who has gone off his rocker.
Yeah.
And her brother is fighting there with the prince she's supposed to marry, and she finds out that that's not where her heart is taking her. And hi, Marissa Allen, and I do too. And you haven't seen the hardcovers yet?
They should be.
Yes, sorry. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, it should be to her soon. Because she ordered them as well, so.
Oh, okay. I received my box yesterday, and I've been wanting to do this interview forever. So I talked to her like in the first thing, hey, I got my box. Let's do the interview now because I'm impatient. They are worth it. And of course I dropped my mouse again. What I think my I had like two questions about this.
Mhm.
What is your favorite part of the story?
Oof. I mean, like, in general, like, the story as a whole,
Yeah.
I really love just, like, the friendships and the relationships between the characters. I love them. But, like, as for, like, a specific scene, honestly, I really love in the first book when they are, so Lee is taken prisoner because he's caught stealing, and she goes in to rescue him, and they're, escaping and trying to get back to the ship, and they have this confrontation with these other guys, and they start sword fighting or whatever, and the guy accuses him of being a pirate, and she stops mid-fight, and she's like, "You're a pirate?" And that's just like that. I feel like that scene alone encompasses everything in the series that I wanted to accomplish.
Oh yeah, it's gives her a realization, and then later she gets a brand new realization of who they are and
Yeah.
what they can and what can happen.
Yeah. It was, there's so many parts where just like, I honestly open up the books and just read my favorite parts a lot. And there are quite a few that I just adore, even though I'm the one that wrote it. So that's probably weird, but
No, you
I
can
just,
have favorite parts. I was just talking with the wonderful LD Wasor about things we loved about characters in her books and what we want to share about those. And I had told her how about I picked my favorite parts and share those in graphics. And I had wanted to do those with like your series, but I've been unsure if you'd have a problem if I just like made, hey, I love this part. I made a graphic.
no,
Because I made one, but I didn't get full clarification on whether or not I can just like, hey, can I just like make pretty things and share?
absolutely. Yeah, that is absolutely okay.
I'm sorry, I wanted to, as we were talking, I'm just like in love with this. I'm in love with them.
Yeah, Shane and Philip, also known as Shillip, um, completely own my heart. They were just supposed to be side characters, and then Shane was like, "No, I want a bigger part in this story. Also, it's now going to be a series." So I knew I wanted them to be together from the very beginning.
Mhm.
I just didn't anticipate how much I would love them and how big of a role they would have in the series.
I don't think anybody did. I love how you kept the sword and the rose in the next one, but this picture changes.
Mm-hmm. It's actually the background of their art. I just had them removed.
And to show this, you have the beautiful flower.
Yeah, that flower, that's the one. So in that book, they're searching for a magical flower to heal this spreading illness, and that's the flower that's on the front of the cover.
And this, when I fully got immersed into this, the whole entire world is shutting down because of COVID. And I'm like, okay, this is a great time to find this series. It's like, let's see what they can do.
It
And
was
unfortunately,
weird timing. I wrote the book long before that was even a thing. Because I wrote the book.
I have no doubt.
I wrote the book in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Like the very end of 2018. I finished in January of 2019. And then I just kind of like, because I didn't plan on becoming an author. That was never the plan. I was just fun. And I had a couple of friends read the book and they really liked it. So I was like, okay, maybe I can try this. So that fall, I sent it to an editor friend. And then I, planned the release for March of 2020. It released the week the world shut down. And I was like, this is probably really horrible timing to release a book about a plague-like illness spreading. It was very weird timing.
It didn't stop us,
Right.
as you can tell.
Yeah.
Because it's like, do you have any idea how many times I've watched Tangled while going through your stuff and watched every other princess movie possible? And I'm like, well, this lady seems to be on the same page as we are. And she even put it in her book. I think I want to be her friend. And I may not be a best friend, but I am going to cheer you on and read your books.
I appreciate it more than you could possibly know.
And these, I don't know if you guys can see, but look at how ornate. You can see the little uh indentions, you can see the things that pop up. They did amazing. So this cover,
Yes.
it's the flower that heals, and my brain goes into weapons, and I'm probably sure you did not want them to be called maces, but they had a specific name.
So those are actually supposed to be scepters.
Yes.
Like the things that are just held with the like gems on the top or whatever. Because so in that book, Shane is seeing I don't know how spoiler this is.
You can be as spoilery as you like, because at this point, if they're like me, they're gonna go back and read it anyway.
Yeah.
But I figure I'm not trying to tell the end. I'm just trying to give a little bit about the book as we go. And please tell that.
Yeah. So he's seeing the ghost of his mother in the second, and she's telling him that he needs to find this scepter because it will hold the answers to what they're looking for, essentially. So it was very difficult to come up with a symbol for each book.
Yeah, I remember that being a conversation.
The second one was the most difficult because I was like, the first one, picking swords, was fairly easy. And then the second one, I was like, I don't know. So I went with that.
It's gorgeous.
I don't remember what the third one is, honestly.
Well, I know it has.
Oh, swords again. Okay.
Yep. They were either swords or knives, depending on the length.
It might I think it's the dagger. So each book has like a magical, not object. So like the first book, she's looking for the group of immortals. The second book, she's looking for the magical flower. And then in the third book, they're looking for this dagger that's supposedly going to break a curse.
Mhm.
So the third one was
And I was just gonna say, and this one with the dagger and my favorite color, this one visually is my favorite. As you were saying, sorry.
no, I was done.
And then to see the dust jacket. What in the second one would you say is your favorite scene?
Um, so difficult. I think so. Towards the end, I'm not going to go into super details because it's spoilery, but towards the end, when she, obviously he finds the scepter, um, when he finds it, and he finds there's a scroll inside that has information, and the scene where he's reading through that and things are kind of all coming together and all of the pieces finally click and they're realizing certain things, realizing who certain people are. I think that was my favorite. And it's not very like there's not a lot happening right in that specific time. It's mostly they're just talking and reading, but the fact that all the pieces are coming together, I really love that.
I do too, and I know it has nothing to do with these books, but whenever I look at them, and especially think about his children in the future, um, the stories are already written, guys. You can go find them, but you have put this song that sticks in my head whenever I look at the series. Find the key, find the key, find how happy you'll be, find the key, find the key, find how happy you'll be. And it just sticks there now, thanks to you, whenever I look at your book and books in general, and it will not go away. And yeah, I don't think you expected anybody to mesh Haunted Mansion with your books, but yeah.
I don't even remember up with that. Somebody else pointed it out to me. I can't remember who, but yeah, as soon as they told me, I was like, oh, yeah, it fits.
Because I didn't think I was the first one, but I sent a video regardless.
Yeah, that and somebody else pointed out the song at the end of Moana when she's
Mhm.
facing the monster. Um, they pointed out that that fits perfectly, and so now every time I am working on this, or anytime I watch Moana, I immediately connect those pieces. So
And
that's
you
I
know
was like,
what? I can see that. Oh, and my before I ask the next one, I have a question from my princesses, my little girls. They wanted to know which was your favorite princess movie?
The Little Mermaid.
Little
I'm
Mermaid?
obsessed growing up. Um, I mean, like to the point where I still have like little decoration things in my room of the Little Mermaid. I have a blanket in my bedroom. I have a painting in my bedroom of Ariel. I mean, when I was little, everything, everything, every birthday theme, I had the clothes, I had the toys, everything was the Little Mermaid.
That is awesomeness incarnate, and I love you more. because we love The Little Mermaid. You have no idea how many times we've watched those movies
I
over and over.
So my first copy was a recorded VHS,
Mhm.
and it's so much that it stopped working.
Yeah.
So for whatever birthday it was after that, I ended up getting 2 copies for the same birthday. So my parents were divorced, so I then had a copy at each house.
I'm
And
only laughing because I've done the same with movies.
yeah, so I still have the VHS. I have the DVD. I bought it on Amazon Prime so I could just stream it easily. Like it's a whole thing.
It's okay. We just find reasons to love you more and more and more.
I also have the soundtrack saved on my phone. So when
Thank you.
I just play, I have random kind of mind attacks in the middle of the night, and that's my go-to. I play the Little Mermaid soundtrack.
That work. I have we keep lately we keep jumping to between Nightmare Before Christmas and like every Disney song possible.
I am literally wearing Nightmare Before Christmas leggings right now.
I don't blame you. I came in Beetlejuice because my shirt has been stolen by my other child, my youngest daughter. So yeah, it's like Beetlejuice, and then Dante's like, "No, you gotta wear the fall truck today," and I'm like, "Okay, fine. You guys pick the outfit. I will be Halloweeny for the day." This story, what theme do you want readers to remember it by?
Oh my gosh. Oof. I So there's a wedding on a ship. That is probably my favorite thing in that book. And it's usually the scene that most people refer to. Um, so either that one or um,
I
the
my
end. Oh,
the what?
the battle at the very end.
Okay,
I don't know.
that makes sense. Because the thought of the wedding, it's like tangled wedding. It's like you finally get it, but it's overshadowed by so many other things happening.
Yeah.
But it's like beautiful because you finally got it and you want it
Well, it was also the first wedding scene I had ever
and
written.
you just want to hug it.
It was.
Sorry if I'm going in and out. We are having a thunderstorm,
Oh no.
but I'm like, I didn't want to wait anymore. You can understand. I'm like, my, because you've probably seen me hug them a couple of times.
I love it. I
But
love.
okay, you left.
Sorry. Oh, I was just gonna say I love that because, like I said, I never planned on becoming an author. I did not think, even when I released the book, the first book, that people would read it, except for like maybe some close friends and family members. So for people to actually enjoy it and love it as much as I do, it just means so much to me.
Oh yeah, because I'm one of those fans. I have the original paperbacks. I have multiple versions of the digital copies because Amazon refuses to update. So I rebought the digital copies to get the new added stuff so I could read that. And of course, you had this happen, and I'm like, I don't need it. I don't need them. I don't need them. I don't need them. Honey, I just spent 100 and something dollars because I need them.
I do.
I
I get it. I get it.
Um, you have an entire series, and it goes into them having children. And I love how you made the families work. And I love how you gave us the original stories in the short story form of the omnibus of the short story. Which of all of the short stories that you have written for the series and the little scenes that you've added has been your favorite to add?
Uh, okay, I have two because I can't pick.
It's okay, you don't have to, because I'm like,
Maybe three. Um, so my favorite bonus chapter is at the very end of the third book.
mhm.
Okay, I'm just gonna spoil it because it's not that big of a deal. I mean, it is a big deal, but like, I don't care if
It's
you
okay.
ahead of time. Um, they're talking about adopting the two kids.
Mhm.
That scene is probably my favorite bonus scene. Um, I loved writing that because I knew very early on that they were gonna do that, and it didn't fit into the current timeline of the story, so I wasn't able to share it in the original books. So I like almost immediately wrote that or the bonus chapter because I was like, I need people to know.
And
Um,
we need to know. You
and
guys need to read.
mhm. Well, especially because I knew that they were going to get books of their own, so I was like, I need to show that like this happened. But yeah, then the short stories, I really love. I really love the one of Ada and Shane's mom
Mhm.
that shows her like, because the whole thing, for those who haven't read it, the whole thing is that their mother believed in the story of the Nyrist so much that she passed it on to them. She kind of set them up to go search for the immortals and the way to break the curse and all this. So, and she passed away when they were very young. So, writing her story, it kind of goes through her entire life. It starts when she's young, and she lives in like the secret neighborhood that um, protects the secrets of the immortals. And so I got to show like why she was so interested in that story and why she felt so deeply. And then I got to show how she met the who the their father, who ends up being the king. I got to show how she, gets into that entire life because she wasn't a royal, she wasn't a noble or anything, but they fell in love, and she kind of took that love of her story into their family. Trying,
It's
yeah,
it basically becomes like the entire need of Ada to find the proof
yeah,
and to find him. And then from there, it went from I need to find them to fix this to I just don't want to let them go. I don't want to let him go.
yes, yeah. And it all started with her mom because she read the story to her like every night. And so I felt like it was really important to show that backstory and why her mom started all of it, basically.
And that getting those short stories and those bonus chapters as a reader was just like getting a hug. It's like, here's more. here's this beautifulness that you can add. Because I'm trying not to like overly gush and like tell them everything, but also I'm sort of stuck on what to say. But I'm also want them to understand, no, you don't have to get these. That's fine. Get the digital copies. Get the physical copies on whatever bookstore you want to go with. And just read it. Become part of the world. See how disappearing in this can help you find hope for your next day. Find a place to hide when you need to hide, and find two different love stories that can make you want to find your love story. Or if you have your love story, to want to make it continue, make it last, and make it bloom like theirs has. I don't know. Does that sound bad?
No.
Okay, cool. Um, since I promised you only an hour, I wanted to like put a tiny bit of time on these two series. And since I didn't think about finding them because I have them like stuffed in a backpack, I have them stuffed in a bag because I'd like to read them. Let's the Benu, how what is the proper pronoun? Pardon the rain is
Venue.
Venue. Okay, Ben You Firebird series. You have this group of friends who find their true love and their soulmate in their world. What is it that you want readers to know about this series?
Um, so it well, first of all, it was supposed to be a college romance spin-off of like The Last Summer.
Mm-hmm.
But then, the books, 2 out of 3 of the main books take place over the summer, not even in the school year. So it's still set on the college campus, but it's not your typical college romance. The first one it's the main girl falls in love with a baseball player, who's her brother's best friend. So that one fits the college themes. The second one, though, is a very famous actor filming on the campus over the summer. And then the third one is a rock star. So they're not really, I don't know. I call them college romances, but they're not super college themed.
They happen at the college, but
Yeah.
they are not a college theme romance story.
Yes.
And that is beautiful. And the tornado scene was not fun. I did not enjoy that at all. I have been through a tornado and I felt her fear. And that was like, okay, it's the worst part and best part
Yeah.
because I could feel it.
That story took on a life of its own. It got a little bit darker than I initially intended. A lot more emotional. Her fear in that scene is based on a real life experience of my own, and it's very similar. Like, actually, it was like a combination of 2 different times. I live in Indiana. There's a lot of tornadoes. So I have a few experiences like that. One in particular ended with me in a basement in college, just like that. So it was definitely based on my own fear.
Mhm.
But yeah, so it was hard to write,
Yeah, it was
but
hard to read.
it, but it also, in my opinion, made it feel more real. I don't know.
No, it did make it felt real. It felt you could feel her fear, you could feel being there.
Mhm.
You can get lost in the moment in that. And for those of us who have been through one or multiple, it's like, well, that was not what I was expecting at all, but that was good writing.
Yeah, I think that was, so I don't write books in order. I
Okay.
jump around. It's a hot mess for a while. But that was one of the first scenes that I wrote in that book because I knew that that was going to happen. And mainly I knew that it was going to be not necessarily the part like with the storm, but the part after, like when he is holding her in the basement and like trying to comfort her, and I knew that part. So I wrote that part. I didn't write the storm scene, but I wrote that part, the basement part, and the part after where they're talking. I wrote those before most of the rest of the book. So that was when I got to the storm scene. I was like, oh, this is really intense.
Yes. And I feel better knowing that I am not the only one that jumps around and writing stories, because I will write one scene here and one scene there and one scene there, and they're like, none of this fits together. And I'm like, give me a bit. I
Right.
promise it fits together. You're the one that wanted to see what I had written first.
That's why I don't let people see what I write until it's done, because I'm like, it's not going to make any sense.
Unfortunately, I needed to have information to move forward.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I need you to explain a few things so I can make the story the way it's supposed to be. And I don't understand how this concept works, but you do. Please
Yeah.
explain.
So
And that's how I went forward.
with the book I wrote or released in September, Cursed by Darkness,
Mhm.
um, I was kind of in a similar situation where I felt like I really needed someone to read it because I needed opinions on how the story was going, because it didn't feel like it was working to me. And a lot of it had changed from what I initially planned, and I wasn't sure if it was still working. So for the first time ever, I used a couple alpha readers, and I was like, I need you to keep in mind that a lot of this is going to change, because right now it's like I have not gone back through it. Like, certain parts might not connect right. I was like, it's basically a hot mess right now, but I just need your feedback on the general stuff that's there.
Oh, yeah. And that's always helpful when you have those special people who can give you that.
Oh yeah, it made a world of difference. It was, yeah, it was a really good experience.
And yeah, I definitely recommend that. Find those special people that you agree on, lovely viewers, and have them help you with your writing,
Yeah,
because it has helped us. And I know I have been grateful to be a beta on your team.
yeah,
And before I hold these up, this series also goes into the next series, the dating app series. I should know the name. I just remember it as the dating app series. We have the other brother and the new one at the bar. And what's driving me crazy is my brain is just lagging today. But you have found a way to mesh these into that series with characters.
yeah. So that one that you're holding right now, the two short stories. One of them is about two baseball players, and they have a friend, on their team who ends up being one of the main characters. It's the Love Hunter series. So that was like the first book is The Wrong Brother, and it's a direct spin-off of that because he's the one that leaves her at the altar.
Yeah.
So, and then it's his brother that is the love interest, but he is getting his own book as well. Aaron is, it is the next in that series that's not started yet, but
I'm not rushing. I just want people to know about the other one. I can tell you what happens in the books. I can tell you how it happens. Names, however, are not working today, and I apologize.
no, I mean, I do too, and they're my book. So, yeah, The Wrong Brother, Right Man are those two, and those two are under my other pen name. So there's Spicier, all the ones under Cait Marie. So all of the Nyrist books, the Bennu books, the Last Summer books, those are all Fade to Black. The other series, the Love Hunters, and then the new fantasy books are all either steamy or spicy.
And I do recommend checking those out. I guess going back in time, it seems like we are of this world of yours. We have this series where various of the characters are younger. They're teenagers going into college age.
Yes.
And them finding out who they are, the ones they love, and finding a way to get through it. And I think the part that hurt most was seeing the brain thing happen in another person, because that's how I lost my dad, but they were able to help her live.
Yeah.
And I this part won't hurt others as much unless they either have or have family members that have brain cancer or brain issues like this. And there are many ways. What do you want us to know about this beautiful series?
One is I don't even know how to describe it. It is more YA. And it's very much focused on, I mean, the romance is obviously a big part of it, but in my opinion, or at least what I was trying to go for, the two main girls are really trying to find their place in the world and trying to go for their dreams, and also seeing that, those dreams can change, those dreams can be harder to than you think, or I don't know, there's different obstacles to overcome. So I try to balance real life heartbreak with romance.
And I love how you made the guys have to realize of whether or not it is worth it. And then the one with I guess the one that means most to me, the one that I love most. And I'm sorry again, I have lost the names, but I know the characters. She had went through the surgery and she lived and she did not remember. And he's like, "No, I'm not stopping. I'm not going anywhere. You are going to remember me and we are going to have our life together. And we can and will do this."
Yeah.
And the fact that he had fell so hard and wasn't about to let her go, I had loved that.
Yeah. One of my favorite lines in that book is when she tells him, like right before the surgery, and I don't remember it word for word because it's been years, but she basically tells him to come back to her, if she forgets, make her fall in love again.
And it was worth it, and it's beautiful. And I think one of my favorite parts was how they found a way and how they kept going and kept trying, no matter how hard it was.
Yeah, the book started off as like, I mean, I knew that was gonna happen. Like, I knew why she was doing the bucket list and everything. But the book initially started off so fluffy and fun and happy, and I was like, this is gonna feel like a complete 180
Mhm.
towards the end. So I was trying to figure out how to like slowly ease into that so that it wasn't super abrupt. That was interesting.
You did a beautiful job. I can honestly say, even the ones I don't have here, I have loved being in your world. My family has heard me just like stop and be like, "What is your problem? It's right in front of your face. Why can't you get it?" Yes, you will stop and you will want to scream, or you will scream at the character sometimes, because I think that's become one of my favorite things, finding out where I'm going to scream at a character in Cait's or CM Haines' books, because I know I will. I know I may have to stop and come back and be like, okay, let's figure this out. How do they get through this?
One of my friends said that during, I think it was the Lost Alliance, maybe
Mhm.
either the Lost Prince or the Lost Alliance. At one point, she was so upset or mad at the characters or something. I don't remember which part it was. She was like, "I threw your book across the room." She's like, "I'm so sorry, but I
I
threw it." She was like, "It was in trouble."
I couldn't throw my computer because I put it on the computer so it'd be big, because I was in between needing to get glasses. I know you understand that feeling, but I
Yeah.
wanted to read, and I was about to throw my computer, so I set it down gently, I closed it, and I walked away, and I went and I played something with the kids. I'm like, "Let's go do something fun, because mommy wants to kill a book."
Yeah. I mean, if it makes anyone feel better, I have that same feeling when writing them.
Oh,
So
you want to scream at the characters as well. That's great.
yeah, they're frustrating at times, especially when they don't follow my very carefully thought out outlines, and they decide to do what they want.
My characters don't follow the carefully thought out outlines.
No.
Sometimes something happens and I'm like, "Well, I didn't see that one coming. I didn't know you could do that." Sometimes, a couple of the ways I found out to solve the problem, I'm like, "Well, I didn't know you could even do that.
Right.
Let's do that."
There was I forget which part of it was, definitely in the Lost Alliance. It was
Mhm.
one of the twists I did not see coming. And when the book came out, somebody was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this was this. I did not see that coming." I was like, "I didn't either, so it's fine."
Yeah, that's understandable. Oh,
And I feel like people who aren't writers don't understand that that's the thing. Like, especially for those of us who are more pantsers than plotters,
I
um,
very much am.
I don't really know what's happening until I get the book right, and I'm like, "Oh, that's how that worked out."
Oh, yeah, and I've loved being on this end of it and seeing how it ends and seeing how it progresses and seeing how they get to where they're going. I am grateful to be a part of the reader's world. And I think one of my other questions, the book that just came out, the one with the golden dress, we
Yes.
can get copies, physical copies of it now, right?
No, I'm still working on it.
Okay, so not this. Okay, because
Yeah.
I was hoping by next Wednesday, but if not by next Wednesday, I'll wait another 2 weeks because that's one of the ones I'm like, I'm going to. I need to hide with it on my bed and pretend I am not a mom for a bit one weekend.
Yeah. I I decided to last free, and so I decided to just wait to upload it as paperbacks until I'm done. That way I don't have to like redo it all. Um,
I am not complaining.
yeah, I'm almost done.
Okay.
There was so what happened was I realized a few weeks ago, mind you, the book released on Tuesday. So I realized, you know, very soon before the release of the first book that I completely forgot to add a character to the first book who is fairly important in the second book. Like he's a close friend to the character, and he was mentioned once in the first book, like just very briefly. But then I realized, because I'm writing book 2 right now, and I was writing it and I realized it doesn't make sense that he wasn't around at all in the first book. Like like he at least needs to be present at some point.
Or at multiple points.
Yeah, so I went through and I like just kind of sprinkled him in throughout. Like he didn't it didn't change the story at all, and he didn't really have anything to do with anything, but he's there. So that
So
in the book,
it
when he's
has
relevant, it
changed.
doesn't like he just appeared out of nowhere.
Okay. So it has changed since the first copy I've read.
Yes. It's probably changed quite a bit since that one.
Okay.
I can't remember. Did you read the arc too or just the beta?
I had okay, let me put it this way. I had the ones it seems like months ago when you first sent them out. And I read it then when you first sent it out. And I made my thing off of that.
Okay, I don't think it's a lot since that,
Okay.
except for this new character. Um, I haven't really changed anything major. Like literally, when I say I added him in, I mean he's just kind of standing off to the side. Like he's just there. Like it's Rose's friend. So like when they're celebrating her birthday, he's just kind of he goes with them. Um, and then he's sitting by them. And then there's like a couple of the scenes where he's just like mentioned or he's standing nearby or something like that. Like it didn't really affect anything. I just needed it to be around that in the second book he doesn't seem random.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I am going to well, I already planned on rereading it anyway. Now I have more of a need to reread to find out what the heck. Because okay. Because you apparently added a whole new character since last time I read the book. Gotcha.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I just reread the books after they come out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like, well, she does things.
I do. I almost always add a lot more right before it publishes.
And then dude, you added like entire new chapters since the first time I got the book.
Yeah, the Lost Legend. So, like I said, I wrote it originally at the end of 2018. I had it edited in 2019. I published it I did not have it proofread. I did not have it go through other people other than the one editor. And after she edited it, I went through and added a ton more. And then nobody went through it again after me. So in the original copy, there were errors. There were little things that didn't quite make sense, or little things that didn't, I don't know. So last year, the year before, I decided to just re-edit the first 3 books completely. Before the Kickstarter and before the omnibus, because I just wanted it to be as clean as possible. But also, my writing style has changed over the years, and
It's
I wasn't
evolved to
super
be
happy
more
with the book. I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love the first book. But it felt very surface level. There wasn't like a lot of description. There wasn't a lot of internal conflict or internal thoughts or anything like that. So when I re-edited it, that one got the most work, and I think I added like 5,000 words.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I just kind of fleshed things out, and then I added a couple chapters, just to kind of flesh out the story a little bit more. Yeah, the other 2 didn't get quite as much. The second one got like, I don't know, like 1,000 words added. But yeah, I have a really bad habit of adding.
Understandable.
When
And
I was
I am not complaining.
when I was editing Missing Legacy, the very last book, in the last round of edits right before it published, I added 25,000 words. Oops.
More reason to reread after you get the arcs and the beta.
Definitely after. Usually the arcs are longer, because I try to wait after I do that final editing. They haven't been proofread, but they've gone through the bigger changes. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And thank you.
That book is like twice as thick as the second book.
It is definitely beautiful and lush, and like Melanie Ron's tale, it is one of those where you are happy you get to go through multiple generations of how this world is, and see so many background things, see so many characters that bring the world to life, and that give more meaning to, well, they're over there sick and they're dying. Well, now you can see how and what's happening and what they are doing about it and what you need to do about it as a ruler.
And I'm really excited for coming. There are, as of right now, 3 series spin-offs planned. One that takes place after. So it's like 3 years after the last book. And it is about the twin boys who go over to a different kingdom. And then the other 2 series take place hundreds of years earlier. So one is about Loxley's younger sister. And then the other one is a duology that I started way before this series. I wrote like half of the first book and then got distracted and wrote something else. But I realized while writing The Nyrist that the world seemed a little similar. And I thought, what if I connected it all together? So by the end, the 4 series will have a big connection from the beginning to the end that I hope people see, because it's not obvious at first. It will not be obvious unless you read all 4 of them. And it has to do with the prophecy that is in The Nyrist.
Okay.
Yeah.
That I am excited and I can't wait. And part of me is I'm not rushing. The other part of me is give it to me now.
Yeah, I'm very excited. One of them, the sisters' duology is a Robin Hood retelling, and then the twins series is King Arthur. So,
Ooh,
and
I love King Arthur.
I have the covers. They are gorgeous. They might be the prettiest covers I've ever had.
Okay.
I have the covers for the other duology that takes place first. I have those covers. They're also very pretty. It's a very different style though. So that's interesting. They don't really match. So they don't look like they connect. That might be a problem I just thought of.
They don't exactly have to, but they sound gorgeous. And the other part of me is they're more gorgeous than this. That would be interesting to see.
I don't. Well, they're close. I don't know. I will send you a picture.
Okay. That will be awesome. And I just found out with Lee that my magnets will will stick to the arm of my mic.
Oh wow.
So I can keep them with my mic.
Oh.
That is awesome.
I need to find something because I don't have anything like metal in my room.
I'm in a closet.
And I need something to put them on as well.
So I just found a good place for them. Yay! Now they can stay with me while I podcast. Thank you. And since I promised you and the kids only, and I only do this for like an hour, I want to first thank you for being here and being part of the show. I want to thank you for writing and sending these amazing things, all the signed books, even the ones I've received before, because they all make me happy. Cait's entire all her universes make me happy. And what do you have closing thoughts of what you want people to do or find, and where would you like people to find you?
Well, you can find me all the social media under Cait Marie or Haines. My 2 new books are Cursed by Darkness and A Crimson Fate. They are the steamier, spicier ones, but they're both fairy tale retellings as well. And the Kickstarter. There is another Kickstarter going on right now for the Cursed by Darkness is part of a set of standalones with a bunch of different authors called Once Upon a Curse. So we have a Kickstarter going on for special editions of those books, and they're gorgeous. I don't know if
They're very beautiful.
it's backwards. I don't know if you can see the purple book back here, but the hardbacks are gonna have like the sprayed edges or something edges.
I have it backwards. That's why it's not working. Let's bring you up. Yeah, it's back behind her ear. It is gorgeous.
To say I can get it's heavy, but yeah. So the hardbacks are gonna have the pretty edges and like the gold foil, and there's character art and all kinds of stuff. So they're very pretty.
They're absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to have to settle for paperbacks because I am broke, but they're so worth it. If you can get the Kickstarter, please get the Kickstarter. They're beautiful. There are great stories by a bunch of great authors. And even if you're just getting the digital copies, they're totally worth it.
Yeah. And there's different options on the Kickstarter. There's even payment plan. So it's still expensive, but that is an option. There are paperbacks on there. I think the ebooks are on there too. I don't remember.
I'll have to reshare because I don't remember fully. There's a whole bunch of things happening today, so
there's a lot going on.
Yeah. But okay. I have put in the show notes her website link, so you can go through and see there. And if you look at our previous newsletters, in one of them you will find her links there as well, because we just love Cait Marie, so we share her regardless. And if you guys please go back and check previous interviews on Unprinted Pages. Thank you for coming with us, and definitely check out later in the future for this Kickstarter. Check out that Kickstarter, and all her books are worth reading. And you can find me at the usual places at Owlite, at Fake Horror, Friday with the Library in the Blue Box, and of course, my author page, Jennifer Elliott. And since I forgot to play the commercial earlier, I'm gonna have to play it at the end before I play the end thing, the little 30-second. Please like, follow, and share. I apologize about that, but okay. And thank you for being here, Cait, and thank you guys for coming.
Thank you for having me.
You are a definite gem. It's hiding. Okay, there it is. Bye.
Greetings and shabibans. We are the Retro Reductibus Cephala Podcast, a long-form bi-weekly show that celebrates all the things that made growing up awesome.
Yeah, that sounds good, but I don't know what all those words mean.
I think what Parasite Steve's trying to say is that on Retro Reductibus, we explore a range of retro goodness, from toys, video games, and movies, to cartoons, and even snacks and school lunches.
Oh.
And we do it all with a positive spin, a slew of killer guests, and some very adult language.
And you know what else is cool?
No.
This crazy show is part of the Dorking Podcast Network with new episodes every Tentacle Tuesday.
What's that?
And if waiting 2 weeks for a new episode gives you a sad, know that we drop bonus episodes all the time, like the off-format Crow's Nest and an interview series we call The Brig.
You can listen to Retro Redoctopus on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any app that's cool enough to carry the only show that celebrates all the things that make growing up awesome.